short notice thing.
Yeah, quite a big turnout actually.
That's fantastic. So perhaps it's better to introduce me, Leah, so that you can start, because we only have 1 hour, right?
Yes, we do.
And I would like, if possible, that people have some time at the end for questions.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Before we start, just a bit of housekeeping. Kindly mute yourselves until, as Prof. Caruana said, at the end of the meeting, there will be a short Q&A session, so you may unmute yourselves then. Please feel free to use the raise hand feature on Zoom, and myself or Johanna will unmute you. There are some people with us today who are not part of the Medical Physics Leadership and Mentoring Program. So just to introduce introduce ourselves, my name is Leah, and I'm one of the mentees. And this meeting is an initiative of the Medical Physics Leadership and Mentoring Group created by Professor Ng Kwan Hong from University Malaya. So the objectives of this meeting are to develop leadership roles among young medical physicists and to provide guidance and support. So we also have a paper which I will put the link in the chat box. Without wasting any more time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Carmel J. Caruana. He is the associate professor and the head of the medical physics department from the University of Malta. He has an incredible resume, including building medical physics from scratch in Malta. His greatest contributions to medical physics have been in education and training and leadership initiatives at the European and international level. He is the past chairperson of the Education and Training Committee for the European Federation of Organizations for Medical Physics, EFOMP. He is the main author in the education and training chapters for the European Guidelines on the Medical Physics Expert and several EFOMP policy statements. He is also the main author of the EFOMP EU-TEMPE module on leadership in medical physics. He was the associate editor for the Educational and Training and Professional Issues for Physica Medica and is a member of the editorial advisory board of the IOPP-IPEM Physics and Engineering in Medicine ebook series. He was one of the initial drivers of the International Medical Physics Certification Board. Now he has just published the first book on strategic leadership for medical physicists. This is an incredible resume. So over to you, Professor Caruana.
Okay, thank you, Leah. Don't be impressed too much with the CV. I mean, believe it or not, everybody can do it. If I have done it from a small island in the Mediterranean, you can do it too. Okay? But let's go through this PowerPoint that I have prepared. And then at the end, I'm quite free today. I have removed all my commitments so that we can, after the presentation, we can talk as much and as long as you like. So unless we are limited by the university there that we have to finish in 1 hour, you can leave the thing on and everybody can ask questions as much as they want. Because I think with a talk like this, the discussion and the questions at the end are as important as the talk itself. Okay, so let's start and see what this talk is all about. An introduction to strategic and robust leadership in medical physics. First of all, why the emphasis on developing good leaders? Why leadership? Because without good leadership, nothing gets done. Departments are ineffective, projects do not move forward, the profession will not develop locally, nationally, regionally, or internationally. Why the emphasis on preparation for leadership in medical physics? Why is it important to emphasize preparation? No leadership training in most medical physics ENT programs. In most of our programs, we have very good masters and with very good science in them, but we don't prepare our students and and our students are the future leaders of the profession, we don't prepare them for leadership. And this is a major problem in our education and training. Leadership is important because society has become too complex for leading simply by intuition and off-the-cuff decision-making. There was a time when I was younger that a lot of decisions can be taken immediately like that, okay? Those days are over. Today we live in a situation where, if you see the third point there, in a world dominated by austerity economics, where everybody is trying to reduce expenses wherever you go, fake information, and you find fake information even in healthcare, okay? It's not just something by politicians. Bluff and international professional competition between a good scientist, and today being a good scientist is not enough for individual professional or the profession to succeed. In fact, being a good objective scientist can sometimes be a handicap. You know, we are, I always say that we are the sons and daughters of Galileo. We are good scientists, we are good physicists, we always try to be objective in what we do. We try to be truthful in what we do and say. But unfortunately, when we end up in healthcare, we find a different game, a totally different game, which is very much different from our physics department, where we have our formation or our education and training. Today, strong strategic planning, management, and communication skills have become crucial. Although many medical physics-related documents refer to the importance of leadership skills, there are very few resources specifically targeted to medical physicists. Other healthcare professions, particularly medical healthcare professions, they have realized a long time ago how important leadership is. And they have prepared, developed a lot of resources for their students. We haven't done this yet. And in fact, I have dedicated the last approximately 6-7 years of my life developing these resources. The younger generation needs to be prepared to take over when it's time for this generation to retire. My generation, we're getting older now, and it's important that you guys, the younger medical physicists, are prepared to take over. And we need to help you prepare yourselves so that you can be strong enough to be able to take on leadership roles in the future. Let me give you some case studies to show you why leadership is important. I'm just going to give you some case studies. Most of them are from my own experiences or the experiences of others that are close to me or other leaders that I have met in the past, just to give you the type of situations many of you will encounter in the future, and perhaps many of you have already started encountering them now. Case study 1. You are a citizen from a region country with very limited resources. You have just returned from doing a master's and training in a foreign country or another region. You want to set up medical physics in your own country or in your own region. In your region, nobody has heard of medical physics in your hospitals. People at the Ministry of Health have never heard about medical physics. They don't even know what you are talking about. Their idea of physics is Newton's laws. Does this sound familiar to some of you? Case study 2. There are 5 chest radiography rooms in your hospital, each run by a different team of radiographers. You have noticed that one of the rooms is repeatedly exceeding the local diagnostic reference levels which you have established. You know that this particular team of radiographers don't like people investigating their techniques, so you have these five teams, and one of them is exceeding the diagnostic reference levels regularly. You want to do something about it. You can't allow patients to keep on being overdosed. You would like to bring about the necessary changes for the patient's benefit as per your legal duty, because your legal duty. whilst doing all possible to maintain good interprofessional relationships with the radiographers concerned. How do you go about it? Case study 3. The previous head of the medical physics department has died unexpectedly. This has actually happened to a young colleague of mine. You have been asked to take over. You are only 25. Your colleagues are the same age or younger than you. You want to set up a strategy for your department. You have only just had 3 years working experience and don't know where to start. Case study 4. You are in a hospital where there are only medical physicists in oncology and nuclear medicine. You are proposing the introduction of physicists in diagnostic and interventional radiology. The management of the radiology department just wants to save money. Their reaction is, we don't have the high doses that one finds in oncology here. We don't need medical physicists. You are the leader of the profession in your country. You have come to know that the members of another profession are going behind your back, telling Ministry of Health officials that they can do the work of medical physicists and more cheaply. You know this is not true. The members of the other profession know that it's not true. However, the Ministry of Health officials don't know A from B. They don't have an idea what medical physics is and what is happening out there. You are the head of the medical physics department at a large hospital, which is expanding its facilities owing to a large population increase in the region and the desire to expand patient services. You want to employ additional medical physics staff. But the human resources manager tells you that you have enough staff, even though he hasn't thought about it and does not know what medical physics services involve. That's 6 case studies for you. Do they sound familiar? I'm sure many of you have met these situations or situations close to these case studies. This is where all the science that we learn will not help us. For us to solve this type of problem, we need another way of thinking. You can be the best physicist in the world. It will not help you. It will help you up to a certain point in the sense that if you're a good physicist, you should be a very good analytical thinker. You should be able to analyze the situation properly, okay? But the physics itself and the mathematics, all the mathematics that you know, will not help you at all. This is a paper that I published some time ago in the journal Medical Physics. It's freely downloadable, you can read it. In today's complex world, the development of strategic and robust leaders, and we'll check what these are in a moment, should become an integral part of the education and training of medical physicists. And in the journal Medical Physics, they have this series of point-counterpoint debates. And look at the title of this point-counterpoint debate. Subjects such as strategic planning, extradisciplinary communication, and management have become crucial to medical physics clinical practice and should become an integral part of the medical physics curriculum. I'm not saying that we should abandon studying science, because that's obviously not something we should do. We are good scientists. We are extremely good scientists. We're perhaps, I will not say perhaps the best scientists in the hospital, but we're up there with the best, okay? So in terms of science preparation, we are really very good. But for other things, we are not. We are not preparing our young people. And this is something that needs to be addressed, and addressed with urgency. In a world dominated by austerity economics, where Everybody is trying to cut corners in terms of money, fake information, bluff, and interprofessional competition. Being a good scientist is not enough for an individual professional or the profession to succeed. In fact, as I said earlier, and I'll repeat it now, being a good objective scientist sometimes is a handicap. Why? Because we are objective, truthful people. We hate bluff. We are, in fact, those of us who are bluffers in our scientific training are removed from our group. Okay? We don't want bluffers. We don't want people who lie, who bend the science results. Okay? But you go into a hospital and you find people talking about subjects which they really know nothing about. When you analyze, they're saying, what the hell is this guy saying? Okay? Sometimes you start practically doubting yourself whether you don't know things properly. But in time, you realize that there's a lot of bluff out there. And it's important to realize this. I remember very early in my career, when I was still very young, like you are, I used to go to the head of one department in the hospital, which was very influential for medical physics. And he would start talking, telling me this is this, talking as if he knew everything. And I said, this guy is really talking in a very authoritative way, so he must know what he's talking about. But then you go into your office and you realize, but what the guy was saying wasn't exactly correct. Now, the first time it happens, you say, okay, maybe I misunderstood. And the second time it happens, you say, okay, maybe I did misunderstand. What can I do? I mean, the third time and the fourth time, you start saying, wait. I'm a very intelligent guy. Okay, I've done physics and mathematics, which are the most difficult subjects out there. Okay, I've done a master's and a very difficult master's. And I always say, if you can make it in physics and maths, you can make it in anything in this world. They're the most difficult of subjects. Okay, if I can make it in this, it means I know what I'm doing and I'm intelligent enough to understand things properly. It's not me who is at fault here. The other person doesn't understand things properly. And at one point, you have to realize this. You have to internalize it and make it part of your own psychology, okay? So that you start facing meetings in a different way, in a more confident way. So what is strategic planning? Some of you might have heard this expression, SWOT analysis, okay? What is this SWOT analysis? It should take books to do this, but I would like to give you an idea of what it is. And by the way, there's a lot of confusion in the books, okay? But the SWOT analysis is the points that we have here. First of all, set a short, a medium, or long-term future vision for the group you are leading in collaboration with the members of the group. So the first thing to do is to say, okay, you take your group, your team, and you say, okay, where would we like to be in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time? Where would we like to be? How would we like our department to be like? This is the future vision for the group. And this is something which you shouldn't do in 1 hour over a cup of coffee. You do that and it will be a disaster. This is something that needs to be studied by the group, given time. You read about it. You have to read about what is happening in the world around you, what is happening in your hospital, what is happening with other healthcare professions, and then you start making a vision of where you would like to be. Your vision is very important. It's the guide that will help keep you focused on your objectives in the complexities of everyday life in our healthcare organizations. It's very important that once you have your vision, you make a big poster of that vision, hang it somewhere in the department, okay, where you and everybody else can see it every day, so that each one of you will remember what your vision is and to which aims you are working every day and every hour of your existence. The second thing to do is to carry out an honest gap analysis. What is a gap analysis? This is the differences between the future desired vision, where you would like to be in 5 years' time, and the actual present real situation. Hey, this is where I would like to be in 5 years' time. This is my situation now, down here. I would like to be up there in 5 years' time, and at the moment my group, my department is down here, okay? And this is very important to do. Many people try to avoid this. Psychologically, we know that we are far from our vision, okay? And psychologically, we hate this. Each one of us. I mean, you'd have to be crazy to not to be worried about this, that you would like to be up here and you're still down here. It is normal, but this gap needs to be studied. You cannot move from here to here unless first you know where you're going and where you are at this point in time. Then you can start devising strategies on how to bridge that gap. So carry out an honest SWOT analysis with respect to that vision. What are your strengths and weaknesses and those of the group? What are my strengths that will help me to achieve this vision? What are the good things that I have? What are the weaknesses that I have? Again, a very psychological problem, this. We all like talking about our strengths, how good we are in this and this and that. But when it comes to weaknesses, we just want to run away from them. We would like to sweep them under the carpet so that we don't see them if possible. Because each one of us want to think that, wow, we're fantastic, we're heroes, we're super, okay? And you can't be a super and hero if you look at your weaknesses. But listen to this, not looking at your weaknesses is the biggest mistake you'll ever make. Because if you don't look at your weaknesses, you will never overcome them. If you don't register what your weaknesses are, accept those weaknesses, and move forward, find ways of overcoming those weaknesses, you will never achieve that vision. You will stay where you are. You will keep on going round in circles at that low level. You might go up a bit, or perhaps a bit more, and then you'll fall back, okay? But you will never achieve the vision that you want. Then you have to look at the external opportunities and threats. By external, what are the opportunities that exist in society? Where are the grants? Where are the political people who might help me to achieve my vision? Who are the important people in the hospital whom I need to get to know and them get to know me? Otherwise, I can't move forward. This is especially important for a small department like ours. We are not doctors who might be small. I mean, there might be few radiologists, for example, in the radiology department, but their political strength is very strong. And we are not nurses, which are big in number, big in number. So again, our political strength is not very high. In such cases, this type of strategic planning is more important. Is more important. In fact, not just more important, it becomes essential. It becomes essential. The weaker you are, the more important strategic planning becomes. Because with good strategic planning, you can overcome those weaknesses. What are the threats? Are there, for example, other professions who are trying to take my role? It's important to look at these, not pretend that they don't exist. Again, biggest mistake that you can make. If you know that there's a group who is working against your interest, it's no use going into your office, hiding in your office and saying, Allah, we have a sort of, I'm in the office here and that's it. Okay, I will go for a pizza. It will not solve the problem. Okay, to solve the problem, you need to say, okay, in which direction, from which direction are the threats coming? Now, what am I going to do to mitigate or destroy those threats? Set specific objectives leading to desired vision. Set specific objectives so that you will, if you follow these objectives, you will achieve that vision. And a realistic strategy to achieve them. Assess your achievement or otherwise of those objectives. So periodically assess, where have I achieved? I want in 5 years from here to reach here. After 1 year, say, okay, where have I? Am I still down here? Have I moved forward in some of these objectives? In which objectives have I moved more forward than others? Why is it that I have moved more in these objectives and less in these? Is it because, for example, I have not put the right people for the objectives? Okay. What were the causes of success in some objectives and absence of success in others? And reevaluate your strategic plan iteratively. Okay, I've done a strategic plan. It seems it's working in some things, but not working in others. Okay, let's meet again the group. Let's reevaluate our strategic plan to improve it. And this has to be done on an ongoing basis. So let's define strategic leadership, because that's the title of our talk, strategic and robust leadership. Let's define it, what it is. These are my definitions. The ability to guide a specific group or team in developing an appropriate vision, to persuade the members of the importance of that vision, to facilitate the development of a strategic plan to achieve that vision, and to be able to motivate them to work collaboratively, willingly, and effectively towards ensuring that the vision is achieved. So, what is strategic leadership? I have a group and I want to produce a strategic plan with this group. Don't try it on your own. You cannot. You might be the most intelligent person and hardworking person in the world. You cannot achieve things on your own. You have to involve the whole group. You have to make them feel that the strategic plan is not yours, but it belongs to us. Okay. So the first thing to do, but as a leader, you must help them. You must help them develop that vision by asking the right questions, by putting in the right feelers. Then you must persuade. Some members will be persuaded with the importance of that vision. Others might not be persuaded. Others might be here and there. You have to work on those people, on their psychology. Everybody must be persuaded of the importance of that vision. If anybody is not persuaded and still remains adamant against it, then get rid of him from the group, because he will destroy or she will destroy that vision. By the way, these are not theoretical things. They're all things that have passed from them myself. Okay. You will have people who will help to achieve visions. You will have other people who will not help. Some people will actually work against vision, your vision, okay? You find all types in this world. You have to accept this. It's part of life. And then you must be able to motivate your people. You must study each one of the members of your group psychologically. Okay, psychologically, and check what are their strengths and weaknesses. Each member of the group, including yourself, will have your strengths and weaknesses. And we must help each other to further develop our strengths and eliminate our weaknesses. And you, as the leader of the group, will have the most work in doing this. If you can bring about a change in your group such that they are all appreciate that vision and want to work towards it, you have practically achieved it. You have practically achieved it. Once you have a good team, it's amazing what can be done. What is robust leadership now? Look at this. This is again from something which is my definition. We characterize leaders as being robust when they are capable of maintaining focus on the vision and adapting their mental perspectives and psychological behaviors such that the vision is achieved irrespective of environmental change, conditions, and stressors like political, economic, and social, psychological, technical, scientific, legal. In this world, like it's easy to achieve something, a vision, when the conditions are good. Okay? When things are in your favor. But life is not like that. You will find that there are some things which will be in your favor, other things which will be against you achieving that vision. Now, what is the difference between a robust leader and a non-robust leader? A robust leader will not give up. A robust leader will not give up. Robust leaders need to be psychologically tough, resilient, bold, and respectful of others without being timid. Robust leaders may bend but not break. And this is the definition of robustness. We must learn to be stronger people psychologically. I'm not saying that we become like that in a few days' time. It doesn't happen. To become a strategic and robust leader will take years. Okay? Some people achieve it faster than others. From my experience, I have found that the people who achieve it the fastest are those who accept things quickly. In the sense, they are doing something and they are finding hurdles. Some people will say, but why is that? Why is this, for example, this person being so against what I'm trying to do? Why is that now? Why is this happening like that? They keep on asking these questions. And they spend 6 months going around in circles trying to answer the question why. Why is it happening? Instead of saying, this is happening. What am I going to do about it? Full stop. If you work in this way, you will move faster. I tell you my own experience. I took in the first 4 or 5 years of my career, I was going round in circles. But at one point, I said, look, this is going nowhere. And I had to, in a way, reinvent myself. I was a person who didn't like, for example, conflict with others. I tried to be on good terms with everybody. I tried to be as honest as I could. I tried to be helpful as I could to others. Okay, but you realize that this doesn't always work. And in fact, sometimes it works against you. And at one point, I took a decision. I said, look, I am going to reach my vision, to achieve my vision. And let me check what I need to change about myself first, okay, to turn myself into a person who would be able to achieve that vision. So becoming a strategic and robust leadership requires a change in ourselves, which will take time. We can't expect of ourselves to change quickly. It's not like that. We are also human. We are human. We are not Superman. None of us is Superman. We would like to think that they are Superman, but we're not. Okay, none of us is. Even those who think that they are Superman are the worst often. Okay, because nobody is a Superman in this world. You have to make yourself little by little better than you were yesterday, so that today I'm better than I was yesterday, and yesterday better than I was the day before.